welcome back. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating business mystery. It's one that plagues boardrooms literally all over the world. Picture this, okay? You're looking at your Q4 results. They're the absolute best in your organization's history. Just a totally record-breaking year. But at the exact same time, down in the customer service department, complaints are steadily creeping up. It's the ultimate paradox, right? How do we get so completely disconnected from the very people paying the bills? Well, in today's Explainer, we're going to map out exactly why this happens, the incredibly dangerous disconnect between record profits and declining quality, and most importantly, what you can actually do to fix it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. If your quarterly report says you've hit a brand new maximum, a total financial peak, what is the actual message you should be taking away from a simultaneous rise in client lawsuits, angry emails, and frustrated phone calls? Legendary management thinker W. Edwards Deming made a brilliant point here. He argued that when quarterly financial results become more important than actual product or service quality, sure, the numbers might go up temporarily, but the underlying system, it's actively collapsing. It's a really stark contrast. You see, the problem isn't necessarily with the people counting the money. The problem is with leadership that just stops paying attention to what's actually happening on the ground.
And that brings us to this paradox. We're seeing record-breaking financial results, celebrations all around, popping the champagne, right? But simultaneously, customer complaints are trending dangerously upwards. These are two distinct trends that should absolutely never coexist in a healthy organization. Honestly, it's a bit like celebrating hitting a record-breaking speed on your car's dashboard while actively ignoring the thick black smoke pouring out from under the hood. Financial results and quality metrics moving in opposite directions for more than a year, that is a massive red flag. When this happens, we really have to ask ourselves, how does an organization decide what's more important? The short-term quarterly goal or long-term reputation and, well, actual survival?
To understand why smart leaders miss this glaring issue, we have to look at what Deming called the silence of the pyramid.
It really is a tale of two entirely different worlds living under one corporate roof. In organizations that live and die by the quarterly number, this very natural yet highly destructive separation happens. On one side, right at the top, you've got this hyper-focus on sterile, neat numbers. Executives are sitting in meeting rooms looking at desaturated financial indicators and spreadsheets. Everything feels totally controlled. But then, on the other side, down at the bottom of the organization, you have the messy reality. You've got the frontline workers and ultimately the customers. And you know what happens to those frustrated customers? Eventually, they just stop complaining and they leave. They become entirely silent. The people at the top are completely isolated from this reality simply because the systems they built are designed to highlight profits and hide the pain.
Deming saw a super clear pattern in all this isolation. Basically, the taller the organizational pyramid, the harder it is for the top to actually hear the user. Let's walk through exactly how this breakdown happens. Up at the top of the pyramid, leadership only hears numbers. That's just the native language of the boardroom. Down at the bottom, the cashiers, the support staff, the account managers, they hear the raw anger. They see the defective products firsthand. But here's the absolutely crucial revelation. What happens in the middle? The middle management layer is tasked with translating that raw human anger into statistics. And in doing so, they literally turn that frustration into silence. A screaming customer just becomes a 0.2% drop in a metric on like page 42 of a monthly brief. That middle layer basically acts as acoustic foam, creating two completely separate worlds, one that reports and another that actually lives the experience.
Which leads us to our next section, the true cost of bad quality.
W. Edwards Deming noted a really profound, undeniable truth about this. He said, bad quality is never as visible in a report, but it is usually visible to the customer. Just think about your own reports for a second. Bad quality rarely shows up in the financial data immediately. It hides. It masquerades as a temporary dip or, an acceptable margin of error. But I guarantee you it is instantly visible in the outflow of clients. It's visible in the sudden lack of new orders and in the slow, quiet destruction of a reputation that probably took decades to build. When you sacrifice quality just to hit a number, you are trading your company's entire future for a temporary pat on the back. True constancy of purpose means making a solid promise that the user is infinitely more important than a single digit on a balance sheet.
So, let's talk solutions in this final section. Action, changing the core process. We are going to apply Deming's constancy of purpose right now, like this very week, with a really simple two-step action plan. Step 1,
Pick 3 recurring complaints or pieces of feedback. Don't pick the weird anomalies. Pick the things you hear over and over and over again from the bottom of your pyramid. Step 2, change the process. Now notice, this does not say send an apology email or offer the client a discount. No, it requires asking, what do I need to fundamentally change in our core process so that this specific complaint literally ceases to exist forever? That is true constancy of purpose there. It's an absolute obsession with the process, rather than just obsessing over the final number. It's about building a system that naturally produces quality instead of just trying to inspect for it after the fact.
I want to leave you with one final, vital question to reflect on today. What 3 things does the client definitely know that I haven't changed yet? Think about that. Your clients already know exactly where your system is broken. Your frontline staff knows it too. The only real question is whether you're brave enough to look past those quarterly profit margins and actually fix the foundation. So chew on that for a bit. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next analysis.